Senate Committee Room, A305. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. Senate Committee Room, A305. Did you know that you can watch the Senate live on YouTube? Visit the channel by browsing to youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. That's youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. Senate Committee Room, A305. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. Senate Committee Room, A305. Did you know that you can watch the Senate live on YouTube? Visit the channel by browsing to youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. That's youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. Senate Committee Room, A305. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. Senate Committee Room, A305. Did you know that you can watch the Senate live on YouTube? Visit the channel by browsing to youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. That's youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. Senate Committee Room, A305. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. Senate Committee Room, A305. Did you know that you can watch the Senate live on YouTube? Visit the channel by browsing to youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. That's youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. Senate Committee Room, A305. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. Senate Committee Room, A305. Did you know that you can watch the Senate live on YouTube? Visit the channel by browsing to youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. That's youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. Senate Committee Room, A305. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. Senate Committee Room, A305. Did you know that you can watch the Senate live on YouTube? Visit the channel by browsing to youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. That's youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. Senate Committee Room, A305. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. Senate Committee Room, A305. Did you know that you can watch the Senate live on YouTube? Visit the channel by browsing to youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. That's youtube.com/@Senate of Virginia. Senate Committee Room, A305. This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia.
Bills. 35. These bills originated in another committee, so we will not hear public testimony. And we want to try to stay on time today. So I want to start with those who signed up, and I see Senator Van Valkenburg sitting on the edge of his seat. You knew you were number one. You're up first. Thank you.
Okay, which is the high quality instructional materials, right? Which is, and there's a substitute. Do we need to move that substitute, or are we good? Good. There was a substitute in ed, so are we just good to?
Madam Chair, the bill before you is the substitute as adopted by
Just wanted to make sure.
The bill before us is the substitute.
Okay, great. Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, members of the committee, Senate Bill 955. I'll be quick because I know you got a lot of stuff. This is about trying to make sure that locals have.
Senator Van Valkenburg, we do have a committee sub as well. Senator Dees.
I'm moving the substitute.
Yeah.
There's a motion and a second that the committee substitute be agreed to. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Okay. Senator Van Valkenburg.
You want Wendy to describe
So yeah, I briefly talked with.
I'd
staff,
let
but
Wendy describe it.
Yeah.
Describe it as substitute.
Madam Chair, the committee substitute would have.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Would have to the Department of Education in consultation with teachers, specialists, and subject matter experts, review its current textbook review process to identify opportunities to include high-quality instruction materials. Recommendations, therefore.
There's a motion and a second that the substitute be reported. All in favor, please vote electronically.
No, please say aye.
Please say aye.
We're in
That's right.
subcommittee.
Now,
Let's recommend reporting.
it's recommend reporting.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, members of the committee, next up is Senate Bill 855. I think you also might have. No, okay. 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 Okay, this is an assessment bill. It's about the quality of testing. It does three things. It tries to make the current SOLs we have better and more transparent. It puts guardrails on the local assessments that are taking the place of a lot of verified credits with SOLs, and then it tries to clean up how we actually test at the end of the year, because the way we do it is bad. And so I can go into as much details as you guys want, but I know I've also talked to Wendy on this.
Madam Chair,
Senator Dees.
this bill is the first of a series of bills we've got that really affect how much we spend on K through 12. And I'm going to make a motion, we pass this bill by for the day and look at it, try to figure out how to pay for it in the budget.
Second. There's a motion and a second that the bill will pass by for the day. All in favor, please say aye.
And we're treating them all the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yep.
Bill's by for the day.
Thank you, Madam Chair,
Senator.
members of the committee.
Thank you very much. Second on the sign-up sheet, Senator Pillion is going to take care of the bill for Senator Hackworth.
I'm the new and improved Senator Hackworth.
Thank you.
Yeah, a little bit slimmer these days. Which bill do I need to present, Madam Chair, or someone? Sure. So 921 is the large animal veterinarian grant program. The need for large animal veterinarian grant program is one of the several recommendations that came out of the large animal veterinarian task force that was authorized from Senator Hackworth's legislation last year. So we know that we have a veterinarian shortage in Virginia. This sets up a program. It's already funded. That's it.
There's amendment.
I think Senator Morrison has the budget amendments to go along with this.
Madam Chair, the recommended committee amendment would say from the grant funds is from such funds as appropriated.
There's a motion and a second that the amendment be agreed to. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Move to recommend reporting as amended.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be recommended reported as amended. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Bill is recommended for report. Now you had a second one for Senator Hackworth?
920.
Yes, ma'am.
929.
I don't think this one's going to find the same end result, but we'll go with it. Senate Bill 929, Madam Chair. Virginia will receive $22.79 million a year for the next 15 years from the federal government for abandoned mine land remediation. Virginia Energy is allowed to retain unspent funds as designated set-aside funds in any given program year. This bill enables the department to reserve up to 30% of the designated federal funding annually. No other monies are allowed to be placed in this fund, so no state dollars are requested. The count is an interest-bearing one, so the federal dollars that are placed in it will accrue interest. If we don't create this fund, any unspent federal funds will return to the federal government and not be used for future projects in Virginia. And that's the bill, Madam Chair, as I've been told, and I will try to answer any of your questions.
We do have questions. Senator Deeds.
No, I was just going to make a motion that we pass the bill by and look to address this in the budget.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be passed by, and that it will be addressed in the budget. All in favor of that motion, please say aye. Aye. Thank
Madam
you.
Chair.
Thank you, Senator Pillion. On behalf of Senator Hackworth. Senator Aird, you're next on the sign-up list.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. I think I have 3 bills.
Yes, you want to start with 1214?
I'm sorry, say that again?
1214?
1214.
You have 1214, 1227, and 1236. Take them in the order you
Yeah,
choose.
I'll do 1227 first. This should
That's fine.
be relating to,
Direct your attention to 1227.
yeah, thank you so much, Madam Chair. The short version is this bill would require there be counsel present during an indigent defendant's first appearance within jurisdictions that have public defender's office. And I want to speak specifically to the financial impact. While I'm aware that the impact statement states that the PDs would be aided by 10 new paralegal positions within their smallest jurisdictions to assist with the implementation of the legislation, I'm under the understanding that they should receive that support. It's my understanding that even without these positions being funded, they would be in a position to move forward with implementation. And I have been given that information of how much they're able to absorb, which would be up to the amount of $800,000 is what I have in my records, Madam Chair. And so while there will still be some costs to be borne by the criminal fund, for instances, in which the public defender's office has a direct conflict during a first appearance, at which point the case has to be conflicted to a court-appointed contract attorney. The bill literally spells out the rates and calculations on the fees in the subsect of incidents in a way that is designed to drive down the costs according to the JLARC report. So I'm hoping that with that information, we'll be able to move the bill forward.
Members of the committee? Questions? Reactions?
My motion, Madam Chair, is to pass the bill by for the day and try to look at this in the budget. You know, the impact is more than the $800,000. It's $1.5 million a year. We've got to figure that part out. So
There's a motion. And a second. For that, please say aye. Aye.
Okay, now I'm ready for 1214, Madam Chair.
Go right ahead.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, this legislation comes as a result of the recommendation from the Joint Commission on Science and Technology, and represents significant efforts over the interim to begin addressing the usage of high-risk AI systems, again, specifically relating to the financial implications when we completed our work on JCOTS, we were not expecting the sudden financial implications that we now see before the bill today. We were aware that VITA was going to have a cost of around $200,000 when the bill would be required to be implemented, because it does have a delayed effective date. But now we are seeing suddenly that there is also a significant fiscal impact being identified from the Virginia State Police. And so I'm prepared today to delay the impact to 2027. I don't have a previous amendment prepared for that, but I'm happy to do so. But ultimately, I'm hoping that with that delayed effective date, we will then be able to move the legislation forward and address any future fiscal implications when it's the appropriate time. It's right now, it's at 2026, and so I'm willing to push it to 27 if that's the concern that they have of having to hire staff earlier.
Madam Chair.
Senator Dees.
Senator Aaron, I heard you say something about JCOTS. Has this bill already been to JCOTS?
This is a recommendation of JCOTS.
Okay.
And there was no fiscal impact when the recommendation was made.
I don't think, Madam Chair, I don't think we had that information.
Yeah, we do
This
not-
is a formal recommendation of JCOTS.
Okay.
I'll take it back for the day. for now.
Well, let's take it back for the day and look at that fiscal impact, because I was going to make another motion, but I want to figure out, we didn't have the information from JCOTS.
Yeah, this is a different, this is.
And
gonna be a
again, I just
different-
repeat to the committee, I'm happy to make it to 2027 if that's necessary to address the future costs that may arise as presented
And
now.
that might solve the issue we were having, but let's,
Yeah, but we'll take it back for the day because there was gonna be a different, motion. So we'll take it back for
I
the day.
see.
Take a look. Right. So all in favor of that motion made by Senator Dees, say aye. Aye. Thank you.
Madam Chair, the last bill is Senate Bill 1236, and you all are no stranger to this work. This is another recommendation that came out of the 2023 JLARC Standards of Qualities report to address the SOQ formula. I know that there have been a lot of work towards addressing the support staff cap, but this is another effort to try and address that.
and Madam Chair, it's the
I know
right
we're
thing-
treating all of them the same.
It's the right thing to do, but it's $223 million a year. And what we're trying to do with all of these bills is treat them the same, whether they're introduced by Democrats or Republicans. So I'm going to make a motion that we pass the bill by for the day and try to figure this out in the budget.
Second.
There's a motion? There's a motion and a second that the bill will pass by for the day and that we will spend until midnight each night until we figure this out in the budget.
I appreciate that commitment, Madam Chair. I thank the committee.
Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Mokai.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of the committee. Senate Bill 984 is a Virginia Fire Personnel and Equipment Grant Program. It would establish the Virginia Fire Personnel and Equipment Grant Program for the purpose of providing grants to localities to hire additional firefighters and to improve their firefighting and emergency medical services. This bill specifies that the Department of Fire Program shall administer the program, excuse me, and two types of grants shall be made from the program. The first shall provide grants to localities to increase the number of firefighters. Such grants shall be made for up to 3 years and shall be used by localities for programs to hire new, additional full-time firefighters, convert part-time or volunteer firefighters to full-time firefighters, and to recruit and retain volunteer firefighters. The second shall provide grants to localities for improving firefighting and emergency medical services, including by acquiring firefighting and emergency medical service vehicles and equipment and modifying facilities. For both grants, the bill provides that funds shall not be used to supplant any funds currently provided by the Commonwealth or by the locality and should be used to increase the total number of funds available for the provisions of firefighting and emergency medical services. We all know we lack services in our fire departments in emergency medical. In my district alone, I have 45 fire departments, and only 3 of them have paid firefighters. And I mean, that might mean they have 1 out of the whole.
All volunteer.
All volunteer. And so 50% of the funds would be required to be used for volunteer. They have 50% of the money would go to volunteer. departments. Because once you're a volunteer firefighter, you might sign up saying, ooh, I want to be a firefighter, but you also have to bake the cookies for the bake sale, and you have to repair the fire trucks, and you have to maintain the firehouse. So it's not just being a firefighter or to go out and save and be the first responders, but you also have to raise the money to maintain the equipment and buy those hundreds of $1,000 fire trucks. It's multifaceted what that job entails now.
We do understand that the need is great. Senator Dees, I
Madam
see
Chair,
your light.
Senator Molka has identified a worthwhile topic. This is nearly identical to a bill Senator Perry had last year. We carried that bill over, and we can't do that this year. I'd move that we pass the bill by indefinitely, and we try to take a look at this in the budget.
Second.
There's a motion and a second that the bill will be passed by indefinitely and that we will, did you say by the,
Indefinitely.
Senator, there was a different, he said indefinitely. Okay, there's a motion that the bill be PBI. All in favor of that motion, please say aye. Aye.
Okay, I'll go cry me a river.
3-0.
What? 3 yes, 1 no.
Usual
Thank you.
suspect.
Senator Rome.
Good morning, Madam Chair, and to the members of the subcommittee. SB 1003. This is a bill to provide no-cost breakfast for students in school. Saves parents up to $315 a year. Ensures
We
kids-
worked on this so long, I thought I was gonna be here for breakfast.
And yeah, so feeding kids is good. We should feed kids. This bill feeds kids. Let's feed kids.
And Madam Chair, this is the right thing to do. There's some kids that only get food at school.
That's correct.
And kids that are hungry can't learn. But this is something that we ought to take a look at in the budget. It's a $30 million, $29 million project. I think we can.
There's a motion and a second. And again, we're gonna be sitting up, working on the budget. Now we're past midnight. That's a motion. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you. We're gonna move to the Hashmi docket. Senator Hashmi, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bills. Which one you want to take first?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and my apologies for my 39 bills today. So, I would like to take up SB 1414 if possible.
1414, fine.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, SB 1414 is creating the Employee Child Care Assistance Pilot Program that would provide a framework for for Virginia to build its own model to incentivize employers to contribute to the child care cost of their employees. This is a pilot program, and it would be funded through the mixed delivery system and administered by Virginia Early Childhood Foundation. And for the employers that agree to make these child care contributions on behalf of their employees, the pilot program will issue a state match directly eligible for the providers, and small businesses are prioritized during this awarding period. There is a House cognate, and this bill was reported unanimously from House Appropriations yesterday. It is a legislation that's supported by Virginia Early Childhood Foundation, the Promise Partnership, VACO, Virginia Chamber of Commerce, VHHA, as well as the Business Roundtable for Early Childhood, Chamber RVA, and other organizations and institutions.
Madam Chair,
Senator Dees.
coming out of the pandemic, we all have gotten an important reinforced lesson about how important childcare is. This is something we can look at it in the budget. I'd move we pass the bill by for the day. Look at it in the budget.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be passed by for the day. All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next bill is 1063, which is the College and Career Ready Program, and there is a small amendment, I think, that has been given to
Motion on the
committee.
amendment, please.
I'll move the amendment.
There's a motion and a second that the amendment be agreed to. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Steve, could you let us know what that?
Madam
amendment says?
Chair, it'll be in a substitute. It's just striking some technical references to Richard Bland College.
It should be adding Richard Bland back
Or
in.
adding, my apologies, Madam Chair and Senator, adding it back in.
Thank you, thank you. So, Madam Chair, this is a bill that we're familiar with. We had taken a look at it last year, and Madam Chair, this is your bill as well from last year, but this is just cleaning up some of the language that was part of the bill, removing the references to the All-Line Virginia Network, changing Richard Bland to be an ex officio member of the advisory committee, and removing the references to the Federal Reserve Bank. And we know that the governor in his introduced budget has added some fiscal support for the launch of the college and career program through our VCCS.
We have a lot of bills that we're having to deal with in the same way. Senator Deeds?
Madam Chair, this was your bill last year. We believe in this. I'd move we pass the bill by for the day and try to figure it out in the budget.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to pass the bill by and deal with it in the budget. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Senator Hashmi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next bill is SB 1099, and this is to establish the Virginia Solar Workforce Development Incentive Grant Program. It is a partnership with the Virginia Community College System and allows us to create paid solar energy internships with funds that are funding through grants that are tied to campus solar installations as well as power purchase agreements. This gives an opportunity not just for workforce development in the Southwest region, but it also creates opportunities for so many of our students to gain skills in renewable energy industries. And it also helps our community colleges as well as schools in the district to begin to convert their energy demands into solar projects that will help to reduce their cost as well through power purchase agreements. So that's the bill, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Senator Deeds.
This is a good idea. We can establish this grant program in the budget, and I would accordingly move we pass the bill by for the day.
Second.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be passed by for the day. And again, back to the budget. All in
Thank you,
favor of
Madam
that
Chair.
motion? Yes.
The next bill is SB 978, and this is to establish the Virginia Excellence in Mathematics. And the primary focus right now is to establish an advisory council. It is to create an advisory council that will help guide the development of the mathematics, Virginia Excellence in Mathematics. It would also create the Office of Mathematics in the Virginia Department of Education that would help to ensure that we have a collaborative and coordinated process all throughout the state to improve the student outcomes in learning in mathematics, and that's the extent of the bill, Madam Chair.
Senator Deeds.
Chair. And I hate to be the hatchet man all the time, but I am, I guess. We're treating all these K through 12, these bills that add funding for K through 12.
That's correct.
The same way, so I move we pass the bill by for the day to try to consider it in the budget.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Senator Hashmi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next bill is SB 979. And this is to reevaluate the accountability system that has been incorporated now by our Department of Education, and to ensure that we have an opportunity to pause just briefly, take a look at the system itself, incorporate some recommended and necessary changes that are emerging from our educators as well as from our variety of school districts. And primarily, this bill is asking for a delay in the enactment and the creation of a advisory board to evaluate the standards and to make recommendations and ensure that our schools are serving the students with the highest needs, most especially our at-risk students, our English language learners, and our students with special needs.
Madam Chair, our recommendation on this is that we move to recommend reporting the bill.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be recommended for reporting. All in favor of that motion, please say aye. Aye.
Thank
One
you,
no.
Madam Chair.
And you have finally Senate Bill 1106.
Yes, the final bill, and thank you for your patience. This is basically to help ensure that our Virginia National Guard tuition program is reverted to the process that we had previously. And what we have seen at the Virginia National Guard is that the changes that we made in 2021 had a pretty serious and negative impact on the opportunities for the VNG to recruit and to retain members. A few years ago, we changed the process that required our National Guard members, if they wanted to pursue education opportunities, to pay their tuition cost up front and then file for reimbursement, and that seems to be quite prohibitive. In fall 22, we had 414 users of the state tuition assistance program, but by this past summer in 2023, that number had dropped down to just 79 members. And so this legislation takes us back to the model where we pay the tuition for those qualifying individuals, and then they are able to pursue their educational opportunities. And there should be no fiscal impact because this is already included in the budget.
You're correct, and this is good. Oh, you've got a motion on this end. There's a motion made from my right and a second that the bill be reported. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All right. Bill is recommended for reporting.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair.
Thank you. On the sign-up sheet, next I have Senator Searle.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I got two bills in front of you, two fairly big ones, actually, but I don't know how much you need me to explain them because it'll take a while if I have to. But one's just the first one, I think, is the bill to authorize collective bargaining by state and local government employees. I think you might have either an amendment or a substitute on that.
That the amendment be agreed to. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Senator Searle.
Thank you, Madam President. So the bill, I'm sorry, Madam Chairman, the bill before you basically delays enactment of collective bargaining by our state and local employees until July 1 of 2027. I mean, if you need to get the details, I can, but basically sets up 17 bargaining units, and it's a bill we heard last year in general government sub.
We have Senator McDougal in queue before we make a motion. Senator McDougal.
Madam Chairman, with the substitute, does this still not include the legislative body, so includes every other entity in government,
I can
but
talk
not
about
us?
Madam Chair, I could address that. I didn't address that as directly as I did before, but when McDougal asked about that before, but my understanding in talking to some folks from some other states, there's actually separation of powers issues wrapped up in allowing the executive branch to negotiate benefits for legislative employees. And in most states, they don't let the executive have that kind of power over us because of that. And so that's I know, one of the issues.
Senator McDougal.
Madam Chairman, I don't know why we couldn't negotiate. If this is a great policy to move forward, I don't know why the legislative branch shouldn't negotiate the same policies for the legislature. I'm not going to support it, just to be clear, but I do think one of the things that we pride ourselves on is being a citizen legislature where we have to deal with the consequences, good or bad, of any legislation that we pass or choose not to pass. This is one where we're saying it's great for everybody else. It's so important that we do it, but not for us. And I just think that that's a horrible policy decision for us to make.
Senator Deeds.
Madam Chair, I move we recommend reporting the bill.
Second. There's a motion and a second that the bill be recommended for reporting.
As amended.
As amended, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. And you record your no. And we have Senator Serval, you have 1466.
I do, Madam Chair, and I'm not sure, there's a sub that's been in the works on that. I'm not sure if it's done yet or not.
Madam Chair, I think we were amending that bill to delay the enactment to July 1, 2026, because we just couldn't figure it all out, how to get it done on time.
Madam Chair, Senator Deeds, I believe there was an amendment for delayed enactment for July 1, 2026, but there may be other amendments related to different offenses that you need to adopt as well.
Yeah, there was some offenses that we thought were included that we came out in our court's hearing that were not, and I asked for a sub to be
Okay, could
prepared
we
to
get a
include those.
motion then on those amendments
But
and then
the-
have?
I
them
am concerned about the
dis-
delayed enactment. I mean, there's 1.6 million people waiting for relief on this, and the system's set to go live. Most of it is.
Let's let staff speak to that. April?
Madam Chair, I believe, and I can ask Katie if I need additional information, but I believe it was related to being able to have the state police be ready to implement that with the system changes. That's why the recommendation was made.
Yeah, what I was told by, Crime Commission staff's here, I told that the state police is currently testing changes to see if they can get it done. I wasn't aware they had a final answer on that, though, as of yesterday when I was talking to Crime Commission staff.
Madam Chair, Senator Serval, and Crime Commission staff can also, I believe, speak to this, but our understanding from state police is that because of the changes in the offenses compared to the current law, that creates a need for them to reprogram the changes compared to what they're currently doing. I'm happy for Crime Commission staff to speak to that as well.
It's right here.
Howard.
Crystal? Howard? Yes.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the commission. Kristen Howard, Director of the Crime Commission. We have been working with state police. They brought to us some concerns just in the fact that they've been programming everything since 2021 and need to reprogram some of the new items as well as some of the other changes in the bill. I don't know if they're here to go into the details on that, but we've been trying to reconcile that. So I'd not realized that we had the whole bill delayed until 2026, but that is something for consideration for you all.
Thank you, Kristen. Senator McDougal?
Madam Chairman, my question is the delayed enactment for the new changes or the delayed enactment for everything?
Mr.
We're gonna
Chairman,
go to
Sarah
Katie for that
McDougal,
response.
the delayed enactment would be for everything, so that the whole sealing process would be until July 1st, 2026, so that state police can align the CCRE, the Criminal Records Exchange.
Yeah, Madam Chair. So,
Senator McDougal is out. Senator Serval? Yeah, you're like.
I'm not going to take.
No, I saw it.
Madam Chair, could I just,
Madam Chairman.
I would just, I understand we can make the amendment now, but I would really appreciate the opportunity to talk to the state police, because I don't see a reason why the petition process has to wait at all. I understand the automatic piece might have some issues, because that's all computer generated, whatever, but I don't understand what needs to be delayed by going in front of a judge, making an argument, getting an order entered. To me, that just doesn't make any sense at all why that needs to be delayed, but I can try and talk to the state police. They haven't come to me about this all session. I'm happy to go have a conversation with them, because I'd like to ask some questions about it.
Madam Chair, I
Senator
think for the
Deeds.
sake of moving the bill forward today, we make the amendment and we've still got 3 weeks.
I got it. Okay.
Madam Chairman, one more question. Sir Serval, you and I talked yesterday about the, I guess, half dozen additional offenses, including stalking, unlawful filming, sexual abuse. Peeping, GPS tracker. Are those in the substitute or not?
That's what I gave to Mr. Kinderman to add.
They are? Okay.
I think your Commonwealth Attorney is the one that suggested many of them.
I think there were a couple more on her list too, but I don't know. But we'll keep talking
The
about
list,
this.
I gave, the list I showed you to him.
I move we make,
Senator Deeds.
Madam Chair, I move we make the changes that include the additional crimes. We add the delayed enactment, and we amend the bill.
That's the motion. And there's a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
I move we report the bill as amended.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be reported as amended. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Record your no?
He's a yes.
You're going to abstain? Okay, thank you. Senator
Okay,
Serval?
thank you. That's it for me, I
That concludes
think.
your bills for today.
Yep, thank you.
I see, on the sign-up sheet, it's Perry and Favola. But if Favola's here, come forward, please.
Madam Chair, I have three bills before you. I'd like to start with Senate Bill 753, and there is an amendment in the nature of a substitute.
Motion on the substitute, please.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to agree to the substitute. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Senator Favola.
Thank you, Madam Chair. What this bill does is it would direct the Department
Could
of
you suspend for a moment so we can hear the substitute?
Stephen have a
Mr. Kidnerman? Steve?
It's a line amendment. It was, yeah.
It's a line amendment then?
Yes, on line 81, after English language learner who speaks, we want to add and is literate.
Is that an amendment then?
It's an amendment, truly. And then there's, after line 82, I'm sorry, 83, we just put a period after year, and we deleted the remainder of that sentence. And that was the period after year on line 83, and we deleted the small I.
So, Madam Chair, when we adopted that substitute, did we effectively adopt those amendments?
Yes, we did.
Instead?
Yes, we did.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience, Madam Chair. So what this does is this allows for math tests in K through 12 to be provided in a language other than English if it is predominantly spoken in that school system. And the intent here is that we actually understand if the child knows math or if the child is having difficulty because of the English translation. The school system, the teacher, and other educators would be the ones to decide that the child should be eligible to take the exam in another language. I've worked with many stakeholders. We put that culturally relevant information into this bill. The latest fiscal statement has come down substantially. I received a note that it was $350,000. I don't know if that is accurate. But I do hope it is the will of the committee to pass this bill because at some point, we are going to have an accountability system.
We do see the merit of the bill, Senator Favola, and I think Senator Dees wants to make a motion so we can.
Madam Chair, it's hard to think that you get an accurate assessment of a child's ability if the child can't understand the test. But what we've kind of agreed to do is all these K through 12 bills, to pass them by for the day and try to deal with them in the budget, and we're trying to treat them all the same.
Okay.
So my motion would be to pass the bill by for the day.
Okay, all right.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be passed by for the day. All in favor of that motion, please say aye. Aye. Senator Favola, move to your
Okay,
next bill.
thank you, Madam Chair. I would ask you to move your attention to Senate Bill 820, and it's the Virginia School Improvement Grant Program. This is a grant program that actually the governor had put into his budget. It tracks the accountability structure that the governor has presented, with the expectation that for the last two categories, dollars would be made available on a per-student formula to the schools that need the help. So it would be your schools that are off track and your schools that need intensive support. That's my bill. It establishes a grant program.
Madam Chair,
Senator Dees.
similar to the last bill, I'd move we pass the bill by for the day and try to take a look at this in the budget.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Pass the bill by for the day. All in favor of that motion, please say aye. Aye. Senator Favola, you have another bill. You have Senate Bill 953.
And I think we have a committee substitute for that bill.
Motion on the substitute?
Do we have that?
Madam Chair, the amendment would add an enactment clause saying that the Virginia Community College system shall develop and implement the common curriculum for practical nursing programs as required by parts of the bill no later than July 1, 2026.
That's correct. Thank you.
Thank
for-
you.
Okay, I'd move that amendment.
There's a motion and a second that the amendment be agreed to. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Then move we recommend reporting the bill.
There's a motion
Thank
and a
you.
second that the bill be recommended for reporting as amended. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Senator.
Okay,
Favola.
thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee.
Thank you. Next on the sign-up sheet is Senator Pekarsky, because I don't see Senator Perry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning.
Good morning.
I have three bills for you this morning. All right, let's start with SB 1037, K-12 telehealth. And I will just note that this actually came back and had no fiscal impact. And it also came from a policy recommendation for the Joint Commission on Healthcare. This bill just allows school boards to consider developing and implementing policies for permitting any public school students to schedule and participate in telehealth services during school hours.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be reported. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Bill is reported. Senator Pekarsky.
Thank you. Love it. Okay.
You want to move to Senate Bill 1262?
Sure. 1262. This one did have a FISC, so this one deals with a pilot program, establishing a pilot program for restorative schools in Virginia. Two-year pilot program establishes restorative discipline
Senator
programs.
Dees.
Madam 12, I apologize. Madam 12.
Madam 12.
Madam Chair.
I like that, Madam 12.
We talked about this and agreed to treat it the way we treat the rest of the K through 12 bills. And so a motion would be to pass this bill by for the day and to try to address it in the budget negotiations.
That's a familiar motion. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you. Senator Pekarsky, you have Senate Bill 1233.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This also, we did not see a FISC on this one. This would just allow school boards who choose, it's permissive, to be able to have collective bargaining agreements that include binding
Senator Dees,
arbitration.
I'm sorry, Senator Dees, did you talk about last night?
Yeah, we talked about.
Conforming that.
We talked about wrapping this including this in Senator Servell's 917 collective bargaining. Is that making you a chief co-patron?
I am
Is that all
amenable
right?
to that.
Okay. Well, I'd make that motion.
There's a motion and a second that we wrap this bill into the
97.
larger bill that has several other bills, including mine, wrapped into it. All in favor of that motion, please say aye. Aye.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Have a good day. If Senator Perry is not here, we have Senator Stewart next.
Senator Perry's next.
Senator Perry is next. Okay, I went back to you again. Senator
Thank
Perry.
you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, this is Senate Bill 1326. This bill is a recommendation of the Joint Subcommittee to study pandemic response and preparedness in the Commonwealth. This has a number of things. This is the sort of after-action report, ways that we can look at being prepared for the next pandemic or states of emergencies. Once they have been declared, things we can do now to make us more agile to protect businesses and people.
Senator Dees.
I'd move we recommend reporting the bill.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be recommended for reporting. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Bill's recommended for reporting.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair.
Senator Stewart.
Madam Chair, this is the bill that has to do with a study for the impacts on the rivers as a result of the withdrawals. I'm sorry?
Number.
I don't know.
9:30.
I don't have it with me. I just know what it is. I know it's a
And
lot
not the time, your bill.
I know it's a lot of money, Madam Chair. I would be delighted if you all would pass it by for the day and let me try to figure out how
At the
to make
request of the
this work.
patriot, the bill will go by for the day. All in favor? Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Eben.
Thank you. Senate Bill 1283 codifies the Commonwealth's current practice of not using for-profit entities to run our correctional facilities. I don't see any fiscal impact because it's not happening now, and I know of no plans.
There's substitutes. Can I get a motion on this? There's a motion and a second that the committee substitute be agreed to. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Senator Eben.
I haven't seen the committee substitute. Maybe it could be described?
We want council to describe, Steve.
Madam Chair, it provides for the prohibitions unless prior approval and authorization from the General Assembly is obtained. So it provides
Yeah, I don't really see that as needed because they could always repeal the prohibition. And I think that we should make a policy statement that we want our correctional facilities to be run by the DOC, but whatever the will of the committee is.
I'd move the amendment.
There's a motion and a second that the amendment be agreed to. All in favor, please say aye.
Then I'd move to report the bill.
Second. There's a motion and a second that the bill be reported. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Bill is reported.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Eben. Senator Boy Scout.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Having a good discussion with my colleague here. I have the National Teachers Certification Incentive Reward Program, SB 1129.
You have Senate Bill 1129.
Yes, ma'am.
Will you have our attention?
Yes, ma'am. So in 2024's budget, we altered the current program that said that any public school staff member who has obtained national board certification is eligible for an incentive award, and candidates pursuing the national board certification who work in Title I SEEP schools are eligible for reimbursement grant awards to cover the cost associated with obtaining that certification. VDOE is in the process of collecting the necessary data on the number of additional school staff who are eligible for these awards, and the cost of expanding the eligibility is not yet known. The amount of state funding allocated to the program was not increased with the eligibility, and so it only exists in budget language. It's not been codified. This would increase the amount of award from $5,000 to $7,500 for each year of certification, with an additional $2,500 for NBTCs in Title I schools and reimbursement grants for certification. You know that our teachers do not have a salary commensurate with their value. It is very difficult to maintain a teacher's license. We want excellent teachers, and we want them to stay in the state, and this will assist them with doing so.
Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Senator Deeds.
Madam Chair, this is a good idea. But we agreed to treat it the way we treat the other K through 12 bills, which was pass the bill by for the day and try to address this in the budget.
Second. There's a motion and a second that the bill will pass by for the day. All in favor of that motion, please say aye. Aye. No, same.
Thank you.
Bill is passed by for the day. We'll deal with it in the budget. Senator Locke? Senator Locke, you have three bills, and you can take them in any order you choose.
Senate Bill 742.
Senate Bill 742.
Which addresses Richard Bland, removes the authority of the Board of Visitors of the College of William and Mary in Virginia to supervise, manage, and control Richard Bland College, and establishes a 9-member Board of Visitors for Richard Bland. So I move that we recommend reporting of Senate Bill 742.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be recommended for reporting. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Senator Locke, you have two more bills.
Okay, Senate Bill 756, there was a late-breaking amendment on this, so in order to consider that, I move that we pass it by for the day to consider this as we discuss the budget.
Second.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be passed by for the day. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Senator Locke, one more bill.
Okay, Senate Bill 829 addresses professionally licensed teachers and supplemental pay program. So I ask that we pass this by for the day and also consider as we discuss the budget.
There's a motion and a second to pass by for the day. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. It's Senator Deeds, you have 1217.
1217, and I think there's a committee substitute for that bill.
Motion on the substitute, please.
Move the substitute.
There's a motion and a second that the substitute be agreed to. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Senator Deeds.
This is a bill that came out of Education Health 15-0. So the fiscal impact is what we were really focused on. And I think the committee substitute permits an exclusion for 1 year for medical expenses and allows for dollar match related to fee revenue for other institutional revenue. And we were going to ask JLARC to take a look at it in 2025 if possible. Is that pretty much sums up the substitute?
I need a motion on the substitute. There's a motion and a second that the substitute be agreed to. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and I need a motion on
Move
the,
to adopt the substitute.
Move to report.
Move to report.
move the report, with the substitute. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Now we have is Senator Marsden not here yet? We have two other patrons, but they're not here. Oh, you don't have a. We need to go at ease for a second, and so we can get the patrons into the committee room. I was gonna try to break my record this morning on time. Wendy?
This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia.
Senator Marsden, we were at ease waiting on you. Thank you for coming. Yes, you have Senate Bill 1332.
1332? That's not, which, I was not given that folder by my staff this morning, so.
That's the towing bill.
The what bill?
The towing.
Towing bill.
The towing bill. Yes, ma'am. What that does is brought real peace in the valley on the towing issues. It allows for the $20 fuel charge that we put in to be more or less permanent, and raises the upper level of the towing rates to $210, I believe, and it still retains all local authority to regulate towing in every way imaginable, and will allow for negotiations to take place to renegotiate the rates in cities. And Arlington is the most affected community by this, but we have agreement there. We have agreement with the towers. I think people are in. I think this is
Senator
in-
Deeds, I
is in
think
good
Senator
shape.
Deeds has a motion.
I'll move to report the bill.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be reported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Bill's reported.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Senator Head. I'm going to ask staff to read those bills, and we will just take them by for the day in absence of the patrons.
Madam Chair, Senator Head had Senate Bill 797 from the Virginia School for the Deaf and Blind. And then we had two from Senator Stanley, Senate Bill 1246 related to the Virginia Emergency Management Preparedness and Capabilities Grant Program and Fund. And Senator Stanley also had the School of Virginia, Dentistry of Virginia Commonwealth University Expanding Facilities Report. Those are the three.
Senator Deeds, can I get a motion, have those go by?
Move to pass bills by for the day.
There's a motion and a second that those bills go by for the day. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. That clears the docket. If there's no further business, the committee shall rise.
This is the Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. Senate Committee Room, A305.